Hi everyone, it's Jen and I am back with an ASC design team project, and I'm going to be using the Wizard Academy paper. So I'm going to go through one by one what I have so you guys can see, and if you want to make this exact album you can get what I have. I have the paper pad, the 8x8, again, Wizard Academy by Ciao Bella on ASC Supplies on Etsy. You can use Scrapping Push 10 for 10% off your normal price purchase. So we do have double-sided here, and this is, of course, Harry Potter related. So unofficially, there is herbology, and I love the designs. The letters and the keys, the flying keys, the common room. My setup's a little bit different, so I am sorry if it isn't superb. These cut-up parts are super cute. One side is like a little card, and the other side is an envelope, so you can make them journaling cards on either side. You can make the journaling cards on the envelope side. There's your potions room. Love it. I love the artwork. Of course, the castle. Unofficially Hogwarts. And it's a watercolor. It's really nice. Nice diamond pattern, herbology, small cutouts on cut aparts on this side, and a pattern on that side. So if you don't want to cut apart, you don't have to. That's a grid. We have a library here. Love it. Some text. And some ornate papers. That's the 8x8. I also got the creative pad. So this is a A4 size. What does it say? Yeah, A4 size. So it is a little bigger than 8.5 by 11. And again, front and back, we got some journaling cards there. Really nice stack of books. Cut aparts on this side, but they're nice, easy shapes. Pattern on that side if you don't want to cut apart. Again, journaling cards. And these would be nice for adding to pockets. More cut aparts, pattern on the back. It's really nice to have a pattern on the back of the cut aparts if you don't want to cut apart. I like that pattern. It's the darkest so far. Cute tags. I think we'll be able to utilize some of these. More cut aparts. Okay, so that one is the A4 size, and they call it the creative pad. Now we're going to get into the 12x12s. I have the patterns pad and the paper pad. So we'll start with the paper pad. This is a lot of paper. You can make this album without this much paper. This is just what I got. So I did like the collection. If I like a collection, I tend to get the entire thing. So your first page has plenty of stuff that you can use, and then a full pattern on the back with some cut aparts. This looks a lot like the 8x8s, just bigger. I imagine we're going to make a nice big mini album with this, and then have plenty of leftovers too. Some of these items I'll cut out beforehand and have them ready. I love the potions. And that pattern again with the castle. This looks like the inside of like a spell book or a herbology book. some nice big cut aparts here. I like the window, whatever that is. Snakes on the back. So if you like this collection, head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy or asccraftsupplies.com and use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off your normal price purchase. And one more is the pattern pad, and then we'll get into the design of the album. You'll also need some medium weight chipboard. I used one 12 by 12 sheet. This here is alphabet, that's typical Ciao Bella. So we got some nice muted designs to kind of interrupt the pattern. Cat there. To interrupt all the busy patterns. I love this, the chest pieces. Diagonally or Hogsmeade. I may have to get another one of these. The normal paper pad. Or no, this is the patterns. That looks like the Marauders map. The time turner must be copyright because they just have stopwatches. Good things take time, it says. Yeah, so that one is the patterns pad, and I do like the patterns pad, I think, the most out of all of them. Although the paper pad has these really nice rooms on it. You can totally tell a story. So that's what I have. That's what I'll be working with. I'm going to cut apart some of the images, and then we can start. Okay, so we're making a 6x8 mini album with a 3-inch spine, and I just take one piece of medium weight chipboard and cut 8 inches, and then cut it in half at 6 inches and get my front and back. And then the piece up here that's 4x12, I cut a 3x8 out of. So 6x8, 6x8, 3x8, and I think we'll make it black. So I have some black cardstock over here. Of course, we're going to need more than one because it is bigger. And this just happens to be, I think I got this at Michael's when they were going out, or it was on clearance. Maybe it was Packetans, but it doesn't matter. Whatever black cardstock you get, I like the Michael's brand Coordinations, I think is the name of it. It works really well, it doesn't tear, and it's a solid core. So I do prefer that. Little trick for you guys. We're going to take our bone, or our scoreboard here. And take our paper. And line the paper up here. And I'm just going to give it about 1.5 inches. So I line the paper up. Sorry, I can't fit everything in with the way my camera is right now. My apologies. But I will get you the idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a strip of score tape on it at the 11 or 10.5 mark. Straight down. And putting it on the scoreboard is just to line it up. That's all you're doing there. And then we're going to put one on right up against the edge here. This one looks like it's a little crooked, but that's okay. We'll use the widest part of it. I'm going to take this off. You can burnish it if you want, but we can do that once the paper's on there. I'm going to run some ATG between the two. Okay, now you line up on the top. If you line it up on the top here, it's going to stay straight, but you need to make sure that you get the bottom, because I did do that a little crooked. And there you go, now you have one big piece of paper. I will tell you that Michael sells 12 by 24 paper that you can get, which works perfectly also. And you don't have to do that part. You just stick it on there. Okay, now hopefully this is big enough. I know one of them wasn't a full piece. And you need about an inch, a half inch all the way around here, here, and here, so we got plenty of room. I am going to kind of move these all over to one side just to get an idea of where I'm going to cut it. You need about a half inch down the bottom to an inch, 3/4 of an inch is better. I'm just going to take this and draw a line across the top so I can cut that excess off without in case you're wondering, you get a free awesome pen with every purchase. It's a little bit close to cardboard here, but I have like a lot down here, so just so you know what's going on. We'll pull this back up and take our scissors and cut along this line. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to just fold that over. Okay, so score tape's the best for doing this, and I just have a 1/2 and 1/4 inch here, so I'm going to do the best I can. I have different sizes downstairs, and ASC Supplies on Etsy has all different sizes. I recommend that you get a variety, but definitely 1/2 inch or 5/8, depending on what you prefer, and the 1/4 inch definitely. So I just go around all the edges, and then in the middle I just use ATG because this is going to keep it on. And many albums take a little while to make because I make them pretty chunky. So I'll be posting at least one video a week. It just takes me a while to get through them. Okay, there's one. And remember, just center it on your paper here. Sorry, I am crooked on my camera. Let me move that. There we go. Center it on your paper. And then we're going to add a piece of 1/4 inch score tape here, because that's going to space our spine apart. There it is. It's hiding. Top to bottom. Right along the edge. And do the same with this spine. Score tape around the edges. I'm just going to use a 1/4 inch because it doesn't really matter. I like using the score tape instead of wet glue. It gets a faster hold and it doesn't wrinkle the paper. Okay, and remember this one is 3 by 8. So 2 6x8s and a 3 by 8. And this paper here, as long as you have an inch or so, 3/4 of an inch around all sides, 1/2 inch, you'll be fine. So I hope in between the album releases I can do some lives, so I can do some cards and stuff too. I just lined up the bottom of this with using my ruler, just laying it flat against this one. Now I'm going to put another piece of 1/4 inch score tape on this side. That 3 inch spine is going to give us lots of nice pages. I think I usually get 8 pages on a 3 inch. It's fine. Maybe even 12. I don't know. I have to count. We'll count. We'll count when I do it. This is how I make all my bases. And there's different ways of doing it, so don't think that any one way is the wrong way. There's lots of different ways you can fold paper. Okay. Again, I just line this up with the bottom, line that up with that 1/4 inch score tape. There you go. And then what we have to do is miter the sides, which is super easy. You want to leave about an 1/8 inch there. And that's just so you don't see the chipboard poking through. So there's about an 1/8 inch there. And then I'm going to probably use the rest of this. I'm going to take this 1/4 inch score tape off. So I don't tape my tape down. The score tape is really nice because you can tear it with your fingers. So I just put a long strip top and bottom. And And that I just use the 1/2 inch, which is sufficient. And then I'm going to use a piece of 1/4 inch here because you can see this little piece here, that's what I'm trying to capture. And I go down into the divots here where the spine comes together. Okay. Once we do that part, we can fold it. I'm going to go ahead and do this part here with the 1/4 inch since I have it out. And then we'll do the sides. I always use I do the long sides first because Kathy Orta, or Kathy King now, she's a genius. She always did her long sides first. So at this point it's just habit because I've been doing this for many, many years. Okay, so peel your score tape stuff off. And bend. This is how I bend it. If you just pick up your whole album, bend it straight over. Just like that. You're going to get a nice crisp edge on that side. Maybe a little tough here where you got this doubled up. Just push down. You take your bone folder. And I find that mini albums are the best way to use a full kit of paper, especially when you have 4 different paper pads of it, but I do like variety, so I always typically start each collection off with a mini album. Do the same on the bottom or on the top, or however you orient it. That's actually going to be the bottom because the crease is here, so make sure the crease is on the back and not the front. And then when I get into the edges, I just kind of push. There we go. And that's the end of my score tape, my 1/2 inch. It's okay. We can compromise with the 1/4 inch. Especially since I didn't leave that much. As long as it's covered, it's fine. So, I'm going to do here. And I'll show you how to tuck those corners in. Go ahead and do this side. On this side. And these, I mean, this obviously is the cover, so it's always going to be similar. But the pages that I show you can be used for any size album. You just have to adjust. Okay, so now for these corners, what you do, push down in with your bone folder or your thumbnail or whatever you want to push down in with before you fold it over. I want to fold it over the same way I folded the other one over, making that crease. I didn't fold it over all the way because I just want to make sure that those corners stay down, and they did. So now we'll fold it over all the way and push down. Okay, that gives you nice square corners where you can't see anything. You can't see the chipboard. Do the same thing over here. Pull off the score tape. Stickless side. Never remember what that's called. The paper backing. And take my bone folder, push down these corners, send my thumbnail. Gosh knows my thumbnails break as it is. and fold it over. I'm confident this time I don't have to check it. Nice square corners, and you can't see the cardboard. That's how you make your cover. One thing left, and then we'll get into the pages. The hinge system, which is a little different. Everybody has a different hinge system. I use the hidden hinge forever. And if you're interested in the hidden hinge, we can do that one day too. This is what your album looks like, by the way. Now I want to find a piece of paper to go here so that it covers up and reinforces the edges here. So this is 8 inches, maybe a little bit more. So I want it to be at least 7 7/8, and I want it to be black. So I got another piece of black cardstock. I cut it to 7 7/8, and it doesn't have to go all the way across. Actually, I suggest that you don't go all the way across with this piece because it's really hard to line up. But you want it to go a couple inches over on each side, so I'm just going to make a little mark here somehow. I'll just do a couple inches on both sides, and I'll just cut it off right there. Okay, so that it covers about that much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do score tape on either side of the spine. And you don't want it to go past where your paper is going to go, so you gotta be mindful of that. And you don't want to go past where that your paper's going to go, so you got to be mindful of that. So we'll just approximate it, and then we're going to go on the top and bottom here so we get the full stickage. There we go. And I'll give you a measurement on this if you want it. This ended up being about 6.5, 6 3/4, somewhere around in there. So I have score tape on either side of the spine, score tape on all fours here. It's not really important to get it on the sides here, but we'll just be very thorough. Remember, this in the middle is what's going to make your spine stay. So we're going to make sure that we really have good coverage, because you don't want your pages falling off. So we're going to do ATG, score tape, and then some liquid glue. I got my Ultra Bond adhesive. Art glitter glue works well. Probably should have peeled off all the backing first, because that's going to dry. Okay. Order of operations is not 100%, but I think we'll get there. Peel everything off. Yeah, we'll get there. It won't dry before we're done. And then we're going to have another layer of paper that goes over this, so not so bad. It'll still stick on the sides. Okay, so we got the extra adhesive there. I'm laying this flat about in the middle. Make sure that it's in the middle vertically. Here we go. Now what you need to do is find the spine on either side Do not put the sharp side of your bone folder in there because it will tear your paper. But I am using the rounded side of the bone folder to go down each one of those. So I just stuck my spine to the other score tape. So right now it's like paper to paper. We reinforce that. And this is the main structure of your book, of your mini album. They'll start to lay flat after we put them together. You can also go right now and do a closure if you wanted like a ribbon closure. This is when you put it in. You put it in right now. Unless you want eyelets, then that's a little different. But if you wanted one that went all the way around, you put it in right now. You tape it right to that cardboard in the middle there. Okay, so onto the pages. This is the cardstock I use. It's Coordinations Premium cardstock, and I tend to use mostly black, but I've used white and off-white and like a craft color too. So we're gonna need 8 pieces, and this is 12 by 12. If you use 8.5 by 11, your measurements won't be like mine. So you have 8 pieces, and you're going to cut those at 7.5. That's what we have here. Okay, so we have our 8 pieces at 7.5 by 12. And our first piece we're going to score at 5 3/4 because that's how big the pages are going to be. So 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. 5 3/4 by 8. 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. 5 3/4 by 7 1/4. 5 3/4 by 7. Whoops. 5 3/4 by 7. 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. And the last one's going to be 5 3/4 and 6 1/4. You're going to have a nice 1/2 inch spine in the middle, and then your pages are going to be equal there. You end up with an extra sheet, and we will use that. Now what you do is you start with your biggest spine, which is 3 inches. So this is where you scored 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. I am going to use glue, and I just have my Ultra Bond adhesive from ASC Supplies, but you can use the, what do they have? I think craft glitter glue or whatever glue you choose to use. Okay. And we're just going to make sure we get to the edges. Remember, this holds all your pages in, so make sure you get good coverage on it. Okay. And then I'm going to put the small page to the front. Okay, and then your next one, this is the one that we scored at 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. And then on this one, I'm going to put the smaller page to the opposite side. It just gives it a little bit of variety. Now, as long as you line your pages up with each other and you scored everything straight, you'll have straight pages. Okay, there's that one. Your next one is the 5 3/4 and 8 inch. And I'm going to change and make the smaller page on the left. And we're going to put lots of flaps and pockets and extra pages in here, so you're really not going to be able to tell that that was like by design. Okay, and just keep going like that. And this is my basic just stack the page system and binding. And like, I did not come up with this, but I do enjoy not having the hidden hinge and doing all the folds and trying to put the page down on the, you know, I've done that for years. I can still do it, but this just seems to be easier for me. And if you get one off, you're not, like, all of them aren't off. And the last page has a nice big 1/2 inch gusset, and each page is 5 3/4. Alright, and that is the basic album. There you go. Lots of pages to decorate. So I'm going to end this one here. This is the hidden page album system, and it is the 6 by 8 by 3 inch spine. And this is an ASC Supplies on Etsy design team project. And head on over there and get 10% off your regular price purchase using Strapping Posh 10. And we'll see you for the next step in this process. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.